All right, so welcome to live session number 4 of the Personal Kanban Mastery Group. It feels like a little while since we last checked in, and where we last left off, I think we were looking at adding some goals to our experiments, and I think for the first time, really starting to give a good test run of your PK systems. So I'm delighted to be with you again tonight and really tonight's kind of like tying up the loose ends, kind of what's left for you, some celebration, of course, in where we've come. And then we can talk a little bit about what else you'd like to do in terms of support beyond tonight, because I'd certainly like to keep journeying with you in some shape or form. So let's dive in. So I wanted to try something a bit different tonight that I've been using a lot lately, particularly through Gangplank. Is anyone familiar with the I forget what they're called? The communication protocols from Jim McCarthy.
Yep, Ricky Gray, adaptive coach. Yep, Jim McCarthy.
Yeah. Is that something new for you, Mark? Oh, I'm not hearing you.
I realize I'm muted. Sorry. I've heard of them, but I don't remember exactly what those protocols are.
Sure. So I've had a lot of good success, particularly with some volunteer groups using them. So just to give a little more structure to our check-in here, I'm going to screen share. This is in the Google Doc, but I'll screen share just so you can all see it. Okay. So you can either click on me or you can click on the Google Doc. And so the way the check-in protocol works is just meant to kind of share things that are kind of one of 4 different emotions. And they're just kind of meant to be short statements. They're not meant to go in depth. So the idea is you can just share things that you're glad about, things that you're sad about, maybe some things that you're afraid about, and things that you're mad about. And then when you're done, just finish with "I'm in," and we all respond with "welcome" and welcome you into the group. So I'll be happy to model. So I'm really glad to be with you again tonight. I feel like I've missed my tribe, my group, journeying with PK. So in some ways I'm sad that this will be the last official gathering, but I'm glad that I anticipate doing future follow-ups just at a slower pace. I'm mad that I've had so many troubles with video production, but I'm glad that I'm getting some help from others in that. And I'm very glad that I'm hopefully going to be launching the self-paced version of Personal Kanban this week. And I'm afraid that maybe people won't respond, but I'm in.
Welcome.
Welcome. Okay, so this is Mark. I guess I'll go next. So I'm glad to be with you all again. I'm glad to have the opportunity to share some insights and also hear some of your insights. And I'll say I'm somewhat afraid that not having a connection beyond the Google Plus site might cause me not to progress as far as I had initially, but I'm glad we are keeping the connection, and we might have some other opportunities to share some lessons in the future. So I'm in.
Welcome, Mike.
Welcome. So I'm glad, this is Samir, and I'm glad that I made that phone call when Jerry kind of shared that, so that I became a part of this elite group. So thank you, Jerry, for the invite and giving a birth on this wonderful team and a wonderful course. I'm mad that I still haven't created my physical board yet. That's still pending, but at least I have my value stream defined, which we have been using on LeanKit, so digital board. I'm afraid that once we get off this, how I will be held accountable, because this forum is what used to help me check in and see amazing things that people have done. It helped me mature my own value stream and get people's perspectives. And I was able to even contribute to other people's value streams. So that was something that motivated me. And that's all. I'm afraid that I will not get to check in with people as much, but I'm hoping that everybody on this group will get together and keep us focused in the journey as friends. So I'm in.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And Michael's given me the okay to try calling one more time, so let's give that a shot.
I'm going to mute my mic just in case.
That's a good point.
Watch out for the evil cackle. Hello, Michael.
Can you hear me?
Yes. It's a little bit low, but no feedback, so that's good.
Okay, great.
Are you able to speak a little bit louder?
Yeah. I'm glad to learn how to facilitate online meetings from Jerry by watching him facilitate these online meetings.
Well, we're getting some,
and I'm
Michael, we're getting some,
happy to see that the content,
Michael?
not just the structure of it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll just have to stick with chat tonight. Sorry about that, Michael. We tried. Here we go. Yeah, sorry, Michael. I guess maybe that's as best as we're going to do tonight. Okay. All right, so tonight's a fairly, as usual, fairly loose structure. I'm going to switch over to the Kanban, or session Kanban. So, whoops, let's move checking to them. So, as I mentioned earlier, for me, tonight is really trying to tie up some loose ends, anything that particularly you feel you need to get the full value from the course. So we'll have those discussions through Lean Coffee, and then I'm looking for a bit more feedback. We can finish with a little bit of a celebration, though I'm sad that we're short in number tonight, and kind of talk about what's next, what we'd like to do. I'm certainly open to ideas. In fact, I might even just make that a Lean Coffee topic. Yeah. We'll make sure it gets discussed. All right, so you kind of know how it works. Feel free to... Can you hear those dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm upstairs tonight. I didn't banish myself to the basement. So, a little more sunlight. Well, that's a good idea. I always meant to do that, to take a picture of our sessions, and I always forgot to. Good idea. Little memento. Oops.
Wow, people are pretty fast.
That's good. I love it when there's plenty of ideas flowing. Okay, looks like we've exhausted some ideas, so let's start at the top and work our way down. Oh, you got one more, Samir? All right, so tell us about, let's start at the top then. So Samir, you got the first one there.
Yep. Would like to know more videos that you have shared with us. They have been pretty helpful. More videos from you and Linkit or any other things that apart from here from the course that we have can where would be a better place to look for more videos on this topic?
Okay, so for our discussion, are you looking to identify what those topics are for those videos as well?
No, just basically what sites where this
Okay. All right.
personal Kanban session, where else we can find more information on this.
Okay, sure. Peace and PK.
Yep. So that was mine. Basically, wanting to share how the experiment in shifting back to personal Kanban has been a more calming factor for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Michael, so one of your topics looks like it's a fairly, sounds like that's one I can answer later on for you.
Are you just using the record feature in the community, or?
I use something called ScreenFlow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very popular Mac app. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Outside of using a professional level tool, it's, I think, the best out there for the Mac.
Yeah.
So I'm producing all my courses with.
Cool.
And next one, Michael, thoughts on how to combine with the Scrum task board at work? Anything more you want to say about that? So just type something in or just say no. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I decided to throw a few in here just for fun. So I put in sticking with it. That seemed to be something that was cropping up at the start of our time tonight. So
yeah,
I threw that in there.
Yep.
And so Jerry, the one next to it is mine. It's kind of related. How to look for true focus versus busy work in your personal Kanban.
Yeah. Well, excellent.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'd make that a separate topic for sure. I like that. Portfolio. So that's a topic we haven't covered at all. So if you're curious about doing Kanban at a higher level than just in the near future, we can talk a bit about that. We can share some examples. And that's something that won't be in the initial release of the course. That'll be something further down the road. So
right.
you'll be getting the sneak peek.
Cool.
So Michael, your next one is you guys track entertainment. Tell us about that.
That's a good one. So Michael, thinking about like movies, other stuff that you do with people? Yep.
Okay.
So I think almost another way to phrase the question, and Michael, I'm curious if this is what you're thinking is, are you thinking about sustainable pace and how to visualize that?
Right.
Okay. Do you track all
That
use? Yeah.
right. Everything. Any work that you do, because I don't know how you would relate it to the sustainable pace mark versus just personal chores versus
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I kind of get where you're going on that one. So yeah, that's a good one to talk about too. We have a lot of good topics tonight.
Yeah, fantastic. Family Kanban, Mark?
Yeah. So just some. I finally got the family to start today
Yay.
with a Kanban, and just had some first day observations that I thought were kind of funny.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. And it's age related. Oh, that's the hint.
And the last one I threw in, just minimizing distractions. So kind of dealing with WIP in the immediate moment. All those interruptions. All right, so we're small in number, so let's be more generous with the dots tonight. Let's do 3 each and let's see where they land. Let's see how many get stretched in funny directions.
I will grab the dot. Okay. There we go.
Uh-oh, someone's running away with the top.
Michael's trying to make sure his topic gets on the board.
Either that or he's trying to hide from all the dots.
That's not how lead coffee works.
Maybe he's feeling shy. Don't pick mine. All right, so I've got I actually voted this time too, just because we're a smaller group.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
I got my 3.
I got my 3 too.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're missing. Michael, have you voted?
I think that's what he was trying to do when he moved to his topic.
Yeah, actually, there are a couple of them behind.
Oh, this thing again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to just quickly select them all and send them to the back.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There's one behind Samir's topic.
And Scrum task board. Okay.
Just a moment. There. They should all be in the background. So are we good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there's one. So we're at 10. Should be 2 more. All right, that one didn't get any. I suspect this one didn't get any. Ah, there's 2 there. Well, obviously there's room for improvement in the Google Docs Kanban system. Order, send it back. Okay.
Hide.
I'll make a note. I just copied the board from last time and forgot that we had this problem last time.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I get a volunteer to put them in a reasonable order? I'm sure we'll get through quite a few of them anyway, but let's put copy.
All right. I'll move the topics over.
Thank you, Mark.
Hopefully.
And a volunteer to do the timer?
Okay. I'll do the timer.
Okay.
how many? 8 minutes, right?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Oh,
And we've got to move the others over when we open up space on the board. How about that?
Sure. Natural limit.
okay, whenever you guys are ready.
So, and just a reminder too, for anyone who likes to have written notes, we can collaborate on the Google Doc, the text doc, if you prefer that to listening to a video again. All right, so let's pull the first one in.
Okay, and I'm starting the timer now.
You're just rocking the lean coffee here. Okay, so your topic's in, Michael, so thoughts on how to combine a Scrum task board at work. The question earlier in the chat was, does it make sense to have a Scrum task board for team and a PK for each team member? Well, I'll start with an example of that, and it's one that was told to me by Alexei Zeglov, who works at a company. What he noticed is that having a personal Kanban board when you're part of a team helps to surface all the other stuff that you're doing. And sometimes, when it feels like you're not getting enough done for the team, it's not always clear why. In the example that he showed me, a person was listing all of his tasks related to work, and at least half, if not more, were not related to stuff to the team. And that was really helpful visibility to address, right? People were aware of it and they could do something about it. So my personal feeling is having a personal Kanban is helpful because we all always have stuff that's outside of the team, right? And it helps us keep on top of that stuff and keep all the things in balance. So make sure we're investing in ourselves still, make sure we're doing all the administrative stuff. And, like I've said before, I'll pull tasks from my home life into my work board too, right? So if you got to make an appointment or something, and I got to do it during office hours kind of thing, then so those are some good reasons why I think it's helpful. What do other people think?
For me, I think it would depend. So if I had a team member that seemed to be able to make and meet commitments, I probably wouldn't care if they track things on a personal Kanban board. But I think if there were some challenges, I might introduce them to personal Kanban as a way to kind of making their work visible for them. And if they wanted to bring me in to share, to help them, ask some questions about the board, because we all get our blinders on and looking at our own stuff sometimes. But other than that, I don't think it's anything that, and I don't think Michael was implying this, but I don't think it would be something I would make mandatory on a team, but provide as an option.
Sure.
Just to reveal the kind of things that you just described, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Samir, you have a different thought on that?
Well, the depends part comes on to the culture of the company and the team you are working with. So if your team has better transparency and they are open to really finding out what's blocking the flow, which probably comes out from your Scrum board or through your general meetings, that some things are not moving, that actually will help you bring these questions up, and trying to solve them directly through the Scrum task board can be helpful. Like, what is it that you're working on? Put all your tasks, everybody's tasks on the Scrum board as a team. If still somebody is failing to then commit, as Mark, you said, then helping them with their personal Kanban would be really helpful. But I would, before I introduce anybody, I would want to gauge their comfort level, if they are really wanting to learn something more or not.
Mhm.
But those would be the steps I would go with.
Yeah. Cool.
So what would be the main, other than, I mean, obviously we all agree that you would never mandate something like that. It's all one's personal decision.
That's right.
Anything other than that that could be a potential concern for wanting to introduce PK within a team? What would be some
Well,
reasons not to?
I wonder if Michael had a specific concern that he was looking to address, or if it was just a general question.
Yeah, good point, Mark.
So Michael is taking notes on the document, so you could continue there too.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood your comment there, Michael, about not standard says management. Can you say a little more?
Yeah, in particular, what's the it? Oh, being Scrum and Personal Kanban, not being standard. Is that what you mean? Oh, I see. Buy them a copy of the book.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it's not PMR, it's not Scrum Alliance. Yep.
Yeah.
But it works. Did you answer them that?
Yeah, that's yeah. Um, yeah, so that's a
Yeah,
very good point, Michael. So for me, one of the things I try to encourage is that, especially to management, is there are some standard practices, but there are some things that the team needs to do from time to time tr- to track something. Some metrics they're only tracking for a period of time, maybe introducing a new practice just to try to make something visible that the team wants to improve or amplify. Um, so I try to introduce that concept early on, and then when the team has to introduce something like PK, then I can point to, okay, this is something the team is trying for a while. It may not persist, but it's something the team needs to do to help their work along.
Mhm. Yeah, and certainly in terms of validation, I mean, Personal Kanban just won a major award in the lean world, the Shingo Award. I don't know if you guys heard that. So
yes.
what I thought was particularly intriguing was that all the judges said that they all use Personal Kanban. Just so it's got some pretty strong validation, and yeah, something like that. Yeah. So there's
Wow.
that, right? And obviously there's the book. So there's a lot of and Jim Benson has also won the Brickle Key Award, which is got some notoriety in the Kanban world. So there's plenty of good support for it.
Yep.
The other thing is,
But it's not a standard.
yeah, I mean, I honestly think Personal Kanban would be mind blowing for managers. Maybe you can even find a way to say, hey, why don't would you like to give us a try? Are you finding your days overwhelming, right? I'd send them the link to my course.
Time up.
Although they probably need a lot more handholding. Okay, so quick vote. Thumbs up, keep going, don't care, ready to move on. Just a quick silent vote. Okay.
As Michael's talking, he's voting it down. So
good signal to move on.
Okay, I think we're done.
Awesome.
Hopefully that helped, Michael.
Yeah, and I'm happy, Michael, to keep having that conversation with you.
Okay, cool. Okay, so didn't realize my topic was coming up next. So this was the how to look for true focus versus busy work on Personal Kanban. So this that was sort of one of the fears or concerns I was alluding to when I was checking in, because you guys have seen my personal Kanban. There is some complexity to it, which I'm trying to manage heavily with the whip settings in Lean Kit, because when that thing goes red, I'm looking for, okay, how do I get stuff off the board, not how do I add more complexity. So I've held to my whip limits, haven't adjusted them any further, and instead using those to tell me, okay, way too complex, need to just get stuff out of there. So I'm curious, Jerry, with your experience, what have you discovered around uh, keeping a long-term focus versus just filling it up with busy work?
Mhm. So to put it another way, like how to pay attention to the higher value items that aren't as urgent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a one that resonates highly with me. I've had that struggle for a while, and you know we all do to a certain extent. I think I've managed to make some inroads, but for the longest time, yeah, I felt like I was just dealing with all the little rocks, and you
Hmm.
know getting some big rocks in, but not in the way that they were happening quickly enough or intentionally enough, or things that were important that all of a sudden became urgent because they weren't dealt with earlier when they could have been. So for me, what's been helpful, and this is both professionally and personally, is to have multiple levels of visibility. So in addition to an activity board, I'll show you one in a moment here. I have a few different boards to look at sort of the bigger picture, and I will review those boards on a regular basis, at least weekly, if not more often, and certainly give it a bigger review on a monthly basis, and then pull some of those things into my more immediate stream, so that I don't lose sight of those things and make progress on them. And that's been really helpful, particularly at home. So now when Marina and I do our weekly planning, we also pull out our portfolio board. And, of course, you can organize a portfolio board however you want. Ours happens to have, I think it has the current month column. It has like next month, the next 3 months, next 6 months, next year. And that's just really helped us to, what we try to do is each week make sure we pulled at least one of those rocks into our activity stream. So we're always doing something related to it all the time. And obviously making sure that those rocks aren't so massive that we can't make enough progress on it. I'll just pull up share my portfolio board for work here. So I have a Lean Kit board for that. Okay, so if you click on me, that should make it bigger on your screen.
Yep.
Okay, so you're seeing the innards of Jerry's financial life, which isn't, you can see there's lots of open space, which means life's a little bit lean on the work side right now. But I basically, so just from a portfolio side, from a consulting perspective, I've got some personal development, conferences, products, services, consulting, workshops. So those are kind of my streams. And then across those streams, I have different horizons. And so I try to do that so that I can better balance my focus across different things. And also so that I'm not just thinking about the immediate term, but down the road, what am I going to be doing in 3 months or 6 months? And have those things in mind when I'm thinking about, well, should I do workshops? Should I do consulting? What conferences am I going to? So that's been helpful. And so that's really my quick answer to that, is to have another board that will help you look at things at the higher level. So
Yeah, I like that.
other ideas or thoughts?
Well, so I'm kind of curious because it's a little blurry in my view. I see you've got a completed column, but I see there's two horizontal columns, but I can't read what they
Oh,
are.
okay. So one just says last 3 months, and one says last 6 months.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I was just experimenting with trying to see the trend.
Yeah. Okay. And what's that very last column?
So those ones say missed, as in missed opportunities.
Ah, okay. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. So I was wondering. So I guess a question I have then is how do you or what have you been experimenting with to retrospect on some of these?
I'll be honest there, I've not done a good job of that. Um, I,
Okay.
I've not really been, in fact, this board isn't even fully up to date right now. So so you can see, we all have our weaknesses. Right now, I'm not fully utilizing this board well. But what I have done in the past is I will take, because for me this is also showing, from a money side, the rate at which I'm earning income and so on. So I can quickly add up numbers and see what's coming in, what's projected to come in, what I've missed. So on the financial side, I look at that. I also just look to try to I look to see where my time is being focused, right? So I've used that to shift. Like I've looked sometimes at the amount of effort to do workshops, and sometimes the challenge in getting the return on it. So I made a choice to stop doing that. Well, and now I'm trying the online thing. But I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more I could do with this. This is, I think, kind of early days for me. I've been using it for probably 4 months, and there's definitely more I can do with it.
Yeah, cool. So
Mark's board. Yeah, so Mark's board basically is like a complete mishmash of this and the general activity, right, Mark? Your Valis team is when I look from my perspective, it's way too detailed for that one board.
Not
that.
So I'll say I haven't put as much thought into the longer term focus as Jerry has. But I wanted to recognize that it looked like Michael had a question, so I in chat, so I didn't want to go too far down that path without trying to include him. So Michael, you had a question on to-do limits. Were you talking around the portfolio? Oh, we hit our time box. Around activity. Okay. So I want to continue just to make sure Michael has a chance for some input there.
So just have the time then, Samir, down to 4.
Yep. Started.
Thanks, Sharon.
Yeah, what I'm seeing from Michael.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I'm seeing from Michael's comment, and you might say a bit more in a moment here, is like another way would be to put some of those bigger important things on your Kanban and have different WIP limits for it. That's what I'm seeing there.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of, again, the kind of load balancing the ankle biters versus the other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm pondering right now as far as the next change to the board. I haven't come to any conclusions yet.
But again, I like what actually today morning on my way, I was thinking the same stuff, that we keep doing the activity. I think it will come out through the retrospective, specifically identifying the task which you have really liked, probably the pattern using different colors on your stickies. That would give you more busyness versus the regular,
Yeah, certainly there's lots of different ways to do it. I mean, on our board, we use a at home we have like the really big post-its for the big rocks, right? So that they get lots of attention. They're right at the top. So when we have the flow, like in the ready column, the big rock is the first thing at the top, just so it gets the attention.
Right.
In one of the videos that I will have published this week, you've seen some of the boards in the sample Kanban. But there's some examples there of putting WIP limits on the ready side and on the done side, so that you kind of limit the amount of things you do in different categories, or at least it's a signal. So if you're filling up your time with a bunch of things that doesn't seem as valuable, you kind of put a limit on that as a signal to say, hey, I'm not getting these other things done. That's one approach. And at home right now, actually, what we've been doing, though I think it's starting to outweigh its flavor, its usefulness, is we just have two colors on our board. We have the chores, the things that you just got to do, and we got the things that we feel are more quality, more investment time. So we have green and we have blue.
Yep.
And so at a quick glance, you can see how many greens and how many blues are flowing through your system. So it can be really simple, or it can be, you can add more complexity depending on how much visibility you want to see.
Cool. Yeah, I hadn't thought about putting a limit on the done column. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I introduced that to a client once, and it worked really well for her, and I liked it so much that I stole it and put it online.
Cool.
Anything else here for you, Mike? Anything else for you, Mark or Michael?
No, not for me on that one. Because that gives me some things to think about moving forward.
Okay.
Well, actually, one related question. Are you, I imagine you're going to post in the community, but are you also blogging on Personal Kanban?
You could ask me if I've been blogging on anything. Yeah, it's been a pretty dry spell, though. I think once this course gets published, then I'm going to resume into. I want to at least be blogging once a month, both for my newsletter and just to get stuff up. It's trying to figure out the best way to share all this stuff and hopefully still make some money too.
Yeah.
So
yep.
I've got a personal Kanban gallery site too of boards and things, and I've thought about that being my central hub for all things personal Kanban. So.
Oh.
Right. I think
that's good.
Yep. Ready to move on. All right.
Michael.
I'm trying to move that topic. So I guess sort of related to that is Michael's topic on how do you track entertainment. So I don't know, Michael, anything you want to kind of introduce as part of that?
So earlier he was asking, do you track all of your to-dos? And so for Michael, for me, I'm kind of curious what sparked that question. Obviously, you're curious about something. I assume it's more than just a best practice because there are none. Okay.
No. Okay.
You're in a safe place. You can confess these things.
So so Michael, is it basically you're trying to use your PK system just for you, or are you using your PK system as a family? Do you have a partner in crime?
So help him out here. What would you say to Michael in the situation here where he's over-consuming video games? What questions or comments do you have?
One thing is if I can suggest, along with video games, add more stuff. Like what else you would like to do is, let's say probably like Jerry likes to do and tries to play the ukulele. I have some on my backlog playing guitars, practicing it more, going for a run. Yeah. Absolutely. If you could, the goal is if you are trying to use that to make money out of it by just being a better gamer, why not? But what kind of activities you like? If you are feeling guilty that you're using it mostly for the games, then there's something probably that's bothering you. You may want to find out, in my experience, why do you want to track specifically that and eliminate what's the good one, what is the bad one.
Yeah, I agree with Samir. It really comes down to intent. So you're noticing something, or you may be curious about something, and you can use PK to help give you greater visibility, right? Or you can help PK help you accomplish something. So the question about tracking things really comes down to why, right? Getting clear on the why. And once you know why you want to, what it is you want to do and why, then you can adjust your PK board accordingly. So if you're feeling like your time's just being drained in all kinds of areas that aren't visible on your board, and you want to know where it's going or how much it's going, then that becomes your reason to add more detail to it.
And if I can add, or Jerry there, if you know that that's something bothering you, which is what you want to track, that's your using Pomodoro sessions in conjunction with your PK, because that will kind of, you're time boxing it. If you have to start a game, just time box yourself.
Yeah, good point.
I face the same I face the same problem with Office. Once I start working on a testing activity, I keep spending, testing. Okay, I'll move that feature. I keep going through the testing cycles, and then my project management or the stakeholder reports just stays on the board for 2 days.
I think also it sounds here like, Michael, like you've got an opportunity to maybe do some deeper analysis. So you're noticing you're playing a lot of time with playing video games. Maybe you want to do like a 5 whys kind of exercise there, and get down to, if it's feeling a little unsettling, then maybe try to uncover why is it you're playing those games so much, and that may help create an aha for you, which you can then use PK to help bring about some kind of change.
Yeah, so I typed in the comments there, something else to experiment with is Tiny Habits. BJ Fogg, I don't know if any of you come across some of his stuff, but I actually participated in the Tiny Habits program, and it's how do you link one behavior to another, and sometimes it's a way to amplify certain behaviors or suppress certain behaviors, or just notice when certain behaviors occur. So it's an interesting little experiment to run along with your personal Kanban, for instance. But I agree. I would agree with Jerry. Kind of be clear on what your intent is. What do you want to learn around the gaming, and then you might want to set some things up around your personal Kanban, or even try the little Tiny Habits program. I don't know how much longer he's going to run this. It basically runs for a week, so it's like a week-long experiment you can run, and you might find it interesting to use that as another tool.
Thanks, Mark. That's a great suggestion. That reminded me of another tool that I just signed up for and not really used yet. It's called Lift.do, and there's a web app and an iPhone app. And it's kind of like a social thing. So you post the habits that you're trying to form, and you can keep track of when you do it. So you kind of use it as a way to, accumulate the habit. And there's people who will follow you or encourage you, give you a little praise when you do certain things. Kind of like a Facebook for habit forming.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else is there here for you, Michael? Or if nothing else, what's a key thing you're gonna take away from this that you want to try? And why do you want to put it on the board, Michael? What's your goal? What do you want to learn or change? Okay, so just some data collection, just creating some. So your goal would be then just to create some awareness, just to see how much of that takes up your time. Great.
Yeah. Cool.
That's the first step in the 12-step program.
It's funny because the simple experiment is the sessions that we are doing here. It's a focus session. It's a collaboration, but it's a focus session. We have including. Okay.
I keep thinking someone's like coming to your door. Like, answer your door.
He's bringing us back to the circle.
Need some kind of like Tibetan gong or something.
Yeah, actually we had, you know what, we had one, and we had bought one gong. So every time we accomplished the Scrum project we started 2005-06 in State Farm, we bought a gong, and everybody, when somebody had an epiphany or something, an accomplishment kind of thing, we used to go and bang it up.
Nice. Okay, so time to vote.
Okay, on we go. So the next one is minimize distractions.
Yeah, I think it relates, flows. It's like the topics have flown into order.
We're reaching PK Zen.
PKZ.
PKZ. And that's where I was leading my discussion into, Michael, because you think you want to, measure this part. What I was talking was, in these sessions that we have, the video sessions, 1 hour, 1.5 hour, I've had most focus like this. We are interacting, we are doing some common stuff. I don't distract by looking at some other things. But if I'm doing this same thing alone, could be as simple as watching some videos, PK videos. I would get distracted with that pop-up which comes out from the Twitter, then would click on that link, go through that, those kind of stuff. This team has helped using the personal Kanban techniques, the Pomodoro, the timer, engagement. It takes a group and training yourself. So this has been the best part for me in these sessions. That is what I'm afraid of. One of the afraid part is how I'm going to train myself. I know this needs to be done using Pomodoro or anything like that, but when it comes to actual practicing, that's going to be a tough one.
So, yeah, so what I was going to say is, what Samir was kind of alluding to, Jerry Bowen.
What is that?
Something you can stick next to your computer.
Yeah, oh, Jerry bobblehead.
Do your PK. Hey, interesting.
That's a good one.
PK
Jerry,
merchandise.
I'm starting a manufacturing unit.
Sure, I can go halvesies on that. So, oh, there we go. Now things are getting wild. So yeah, in terms of minimizing distractions, there's a section in the PK book around integrating the Pomodoro technique, and I find that's a really effective way to deal with that. When I use it, it's great. When I don't, I feel the pain. So, as you know, Pomodoro is really about minimizing your whip in the now. So PK is good at kind of minimizing your whip at the task level or at the day level or weeks or so on. Pomodoro is really about your limiting your
Now,
whip in the now. Yeah. So with Pomodoro, you look at two kinds of distractions. There's the kind that you do that are internal, right? Your thoughts, you're scooting over to surf the web, just things that you do that sort of lose your focus, finding music or getting a drink, whatever it might be. And then there's the external distractions. So emails, people knocking on your door, um, being not being hungry, I guess that'd be internal. So what Pomodoro tries to help you do is to limit those distractions. So you literally set a time box, like with our lean coffee here, and quite often it's a 25-minute time box. And you pull in one task. You try to find a task that will fit in there, or at least that's at least 25 minutes. You may have tasks that go more than 25, and that's okay. You just create multiple Pomodoros for them. And during that time, that's the only thing you do. So you just focus on that. And then at the end of your timer, you get a 5-minute break. So the idea with that is, because we're doing knowledge work, our brain works in creative bursts. And giving ourselves that chance to just recharge a little bit incrementally allows us to resume our work with a greater level of energy. Just standing up adds 20% oxygen to your brain. So if you're finding you're starting to, get a little lightheaded, just taking that 5-minute break, getting out, walking around. You're not supposed to do anything, not check email, nothing that requires a lot of brain power. And then come back to it, and then see your work with fresh new eyes. So one way that you can integrate it with PK is in your today tasks is actually estimate them in Pomodoros. So I've done that in the past, and I can see so if I'm planning to do 10 Pomodoros in a day or 12, I can quickly throw numbers on what I think they'll be, and use that as a way to limit my stuff in today. Then I can also see later, how realistic was that, how accurate was that. And you can also use Pomodoro. Part of Pomodoro is actually learning about your distractions and how to mitigate them. So in the full Pomodoro, you often have like a sheet of paper or something, or digital tracking which distractions you have, so that you can look for the patterns. Of course, I think you can even add that stuff to your tasks in whatever tool you're using in PK, just to make notes of, okay, for these ones, Mark, you're pretty slick with the tagging and all. You can even use tags, I would think, right? So maybe you have 5 or 6 types of distractions, and you could just add tags as you pull it into done, or even, wherever, So that's some different ways you could integrate Pomodoro in. But I have found people have taken my in-person course, they found using Pomodoro one of the most beneficial things they've gotten out of taking PK.
So I've personally struggled with using Pomodoro. I've tried a couple times, but maybe it's similar to my PK block that I had. For me, there's times where, especially when I'm trying to do some writing, where I don't want to take a break. But it could be akin to what Uncle Bob says about being in the zone. So as you were saying that about maybe I got too many things going through my head at once here. It could be, I think, what you said about not doing anything that requires brain power during the break, and that's maybe where I falter also. So one is breaking focus when I'm trying to finish getting a thought captured when I'm writing or creating something, but the other part of it is I don't think I'm following the right advice on taking breaks. So I might try some more experiments on Pomodoros.
Yeah, and those are all good observations, Mark. And I know Jim in particular, Jim Benson, he's big on recognizing that Pomodoro isn't for everything. And particularly for stuff that's a little more creative, maybe you don't want to be bound by a time box. So you may discover it's great for cranking out lots of focus stuff, and then there's some things that you don't want that restriction. So
Yeah,
you may
cool.
be that may be just fine.
Yeah.
With our limit.
Michael, your call.
Okay.
Okay, he wants to move on. Okay, so the next one is on more videos.
Yeah, it's just probably a
This will probably be our last topic,
offline.
just to
Yeah.
work it out, unless we get through it quicker. This might be a quick one.
Yep. What I was looking for is, along with Jerry, I know Jim's details, Jim's book, I have it. Any other information places? Got two good tools that definitely can help me with the habits part. What else can you suggest?
Specifically about personal Kanban?
Yeah, and yeah, specifically about personal Kanban.
Well, I mean, for using LeanKit, obviously, they've got lots of tutorials and stuff on their site.
Okay.
As far as, part of why I wanted to create the course online is I didn't really see anything out there. I did some
Yeah.
research, and I actually found one course that's a Kanban PK split, but it's basically slideware. So, it's okay. He does a reasonable job, but he doesn't. It's very lightweight. It doesn't have a lot of depth to it.
In depth.
Like, it's probably about 20% of what I've done. So, yeah, there's really not a lot that I know of out there. I know there's a couple good blogs. There's a gal named Maritza from South Africa who blogs extensively on using PK at home, and I highly recommend reading that, because she's done a lot of really interesting experiments, especially with kids in the dynamic. So
Yeah, Kidsban, so something related to Kidsban. I think I've come across that.
yeah, I'll look for the link and see if I can post it here while we're talking. But yeah, I mean, outside of that,
Or maybe, I was going to say, Jerry, in the interest of time, just go ahead and put it on the community site, since we don't have everyone on the talk today.
Yeah, we could get that information on our discussion topic part.
sure. And so between the course and the personal the SOE Kanban site, where I'm starting to collect a gallery of boards, and I'll certainly be expecting to see some of yours soon, since you've done a lot of great things there, to share with other people. Basically trying to create places for people to learn stuff, because yeah, I don't know too much out there. So if you do find things, I'd be happy to learn about it. Maybe a question to ask Jim too. Jim and Tony Ann might have some idea.
So actually, this might be something else you want to think about as far as the evolution of the courses, as you kind of work with these mastery groups. Maybe you want to take a tip from what Lisa Atkins and Michael Spade have been doing with their groups, where they'll run a mastery group for 6 sessions, and it might be every 2 to 3 weeks that the group meets, kind of like what we've been doing. But it's open topic, and the group kind of consults with each other. But as part of that, sometimes they'll capture learnings, and they do it in a Ning site just for them. But maybe it's you take some of that and scrub the personal stuff out, but say, here's some interesting learnings, and this might be blog ideas that you run with to blog on Personal Kanban or something like that, or encourage the group to take some of those ideas and blog about it.
Yep.
I like the last suggestion in particular.
Yeah. I'm thinking, and I'm not sure if I would like to have a permission if I can start on that part. So I know Jerry, you would be doing back, but would it be okay if I had started to do that part as my own retrospective?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And I've been thinking about adding Well, I mean, about expanding the Yes We Kanban site to be more than just boards, that to actually have, like pages that list resources and kind of an ongoing blog on different topics. So just kind of like an aggregator. Not that all the content would exist there, but if you're blogging about stuff and other people blogging about stuff, then we can link to it, or if you just want to post it directly on the site, we can do that too. So yeah, I'd love to, maybe in our community group we can continue this discussion a little bit more and talk about some ways to not just help ourselves, but kind of expand the use of PK, because obviously the more diversity we have in people using it, the more we all benefit, right? So, is anyone capturing some of these ideas? If not, I'll rewind the tape later. Michael?
We are actually,
Michael's taking the notes? Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Big thumbs up there, Michael. Thank you.
Cool. So, I don't know if there's anything more on that. I kind of wanted to recognize that Michael was asking to get to the portfolio topic, so I actually pushed mine down on the backlog, because I can always just put those on the community site here the next day or so.
Yep. Well, the beauty is we actually touched on the portfolio.
That's what I thought.
So basically everything I said in regards to your earlier topic, Mark, is what I planned to share in the portfolio one. So we got double value there.
Awesome. I love a lean coffee when it works out that way. Yeah. I don't know, Michael, did you have specific questions on portfolio? Okay. All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure you were still in there with us and know that we didn't forget about you.
And did you have any specific, on the previous topic, any additional information?
More about the videos and stuff?
Yeah. If he has, he just took notes. So if you have, you can share with us later now, whenever you get a chance.
Oh, okay.
I would say knowledge base is not just specifically the videos, but that's what.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's next in the line?
Well, we're just a time check here, so we're at 8:47. I would like to, I think in the interest of stopping at a little before 9, because I mean you have a hard stop for 9, Mark.
Yeah.
So why don't we stop there now? And I'm really interested in your stories, Mark. So yes, please do share later on the site. I'm really curious to hear how day 1 went, and just the whole piece in Personal Kanban. That really resonates highly with me. So
yeah, so I'm using that as a prompt to get me to start blogging again myself.
Fantastic.
So.
Yeah.
Certainly to credit you as well.
Thank you, and to those who created Personal Kanban in the first place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So just very quickly then, on the feedback side, all I'm looking for here really at this point is just to get some more reviews up on the Udemy site. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Michael, for doing that. And Samir, this week.
Pending.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you could do that, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to have, a handful of ecstatic reviews. So when it does go live, people know that there's actually people who think this is worth their time and money.
Yes, I will do that this week, yes.
Awesome. So that's all I wanted to say on that.
Cool.
Yeah, I did put. I guess I did put a few tips for I think what would make a great review for each person. So again,
is that on the discussion or the community site?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did want to discuss sticking with it. So let's talk a little bit about that. So I've heard a little bit of fear, a little bit of worry about kind of where to go from here. So what I've heard is that these sessions have been really good for bringing focus, right? Providing some accountability. I mean, obviously, tonight is as stellar as any other night. The depth and the richness of the conversation has been fantastic. So, what would you like to do from here? Let's just talk about that for a few minutes. What would seem like something that would work for you?
From the accountability part, what I heard and even Mark says, I think that if this group kind of keeps meeting probably once a month, something like that, or we keep using that same Google group and keep sharing your stuff. It's not that asking for accountability. As simple as Michael or Mark updating their value stream and sharing their challenges or mentioning something, that inspires, brings the focus back to this group. So
okay,
doing that, and like you've been saying, Jerry, that somebody is probably missing in action. So we probably as a community need to step up and talk to them, just share with them what they are doing, what's their difficulty, the withdrawal symptom, learning with them, reaching out to them. It's like a community of practice. And that's again my talk in Agile 2013. So I'm going to be bugging you all again on that part. But that's where I think why this works is because this is a group of, or a community of practice of people who want to keep doing it. And that sense of community creates the sense of accountability and inspiration.
How successful do you think you would have been if we weren't having these live sessions?
I would be stuck with the same old value stream that I had.
For me personally, I think I would have been frustrated because while I mentioned the one video, the Lincoln video, that was the big aha. I got even more value hearing each of you describe what you've done so far on your board. So I got some inspiration from Michael, and I got some inspiration from you, Jerry, on how you're using physical boards along with digital boards, and hearing Samir for what he's doing, and even planning his vacation with his personal Kanban. So I really valued the different perspectives, and that's hard to capture that even in a Google Plus community.
That's an aha moment right there for me. Yes. What is the difference between just the threads and the live session? Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
So I'll plus one to Samir's, once a month, maybe for the next, as a time box, maybe for the next 3 months we try to get together once a month and see how that works.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's some things I'd like to try with you as a group. I think there's better ways that we could use the community group to perhaps create better flow. So I've got some ideas around that. So maybe as a value exchange, I'll try introducing some of these and have you experiment with me and see what that does. What I'm trying to do in particular is make it better or easier for you to actually post more often, whether it's your goals or your board or your insights. And I'd like to find some ways to create better flow there so that there's sort of a rhythm of engaging with each other. I think there'd be a lot of value in that.
So Jerry, I'll make this commitment. If you post that question out there, I'll respond to it, because I had a couple thoughts as we were talking tonight on ways you might be able to do that.
Great, fantastic.
And also, sometime I participate in a few different NING groups. So if you want just a quick tour of what those groups do, and some are successful, some are not. But if you want to see some of those, happy to do that if you're not involved in any NING groups.
Okay, yeah, I'll consider that. We'll start the conversation first and see where it needs to go. So we just got a couple minutes here. So I'm going to merge the last two together here. We could kind of solve the wrap up part, which is kind of more what's next. So just to celebrate, this is just a chance to, yes. All right, yeah, party hat time. All right, I'm going all in. So this is just a chance to kind of.
I'm totally throwing Jerry off now.
No, I'm trying to like up you here, but I'm running out of time.
See, you guys introduced me to those effects, so it's your fault.
Okay, mine is not loading, so sorry.
So any appreciations you'd like to give, or anything that you'd like to share to kind of make this part of the course complete for you?
So I'll start off on this one because I'll share a little bit of my topic. So one thing I noticed around my GTD system is I was always looking at my board there. I was always sifting through the list, and I never felt, even sitting in a context, that I had whole visibility. And what I've noticed is now that I've used I'm actually using the personal Kanban on a daily basis, I don't tend to look at it as much. So I have a bit more of an inner peace that I've got the whole view, the whole system view, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. So I just wanted to thank you, Jerry, for taking us on this journey, because it's added a bit of peace to my life. And I say that with all seriousness and wearing a party hat.
Absolutely. So Michael is saying that thanks, Jerry, for your patience and care, sir. We +1 to that comment. Absolutely. Thank you for the chance. Thank you for having in such an elite group. Great takeaways. I've done definitely from each and every person. If you hadn't reached out for that conversation, I wouldn't have been here probably. So it was great.
Well, I want to extend my appreciations, one, for really having the courage, first to take a course that had never been done before and be willing to, risk a sizable enough investment that I'm sure you had to think twice about. And then to be willing participants in kind of co-creating this as we went through each week, each series of lessons. I've really learned a lot and had a lot of fun. And certainly all of the work that went into it has been really worthwhile. So it's validated for me that the best way to learn this stuff is through a period of time and through regular touch points. Makes all the difference. So, and I couldn't think of a better group to discover that with. So that's my appreciation to all of you.
Thank you. We're gonna miss Michael's voice. So Michael, does he have anything for us?
Go Bruins.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing tonight. I don't know if you've been.
Okay.
Maybe that's why Michael couldn't talk. He's actually got the TV up loud. There you go. Now we got it all figured out. All right. Be well, everyone.
Take care.
See you in the community. Michael, hope you feel better.
We'll continue the journey.
Yeah,
We'll continue
definitely.
the journey. Yes, sir. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Jerry. Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.